according to my birth certificate, it says that my name is Brandon. And according to my marriage license, people say that that dude that was using the name Antoine V. Johnson set this whole mess up. And that it's some mess that he started because he's a child abuser and a child molester. They said the dude that was using the identity Antoine V. Johnson, it was some people in Birmingham at the food stamp office that said that Antoine V. Johnson and Aldwin V. Johnson, Audwin, Aldwin V. Johnson, Antoine Johnson, Antwan Johnson, that they had used my identity in Georgia a long time ago before I even came to Georgia. It was some in the records or something like that. And I had an address in Birmingham during that time. They said that Antoine V. Johnson and Aldwin V. Johnson, they did crimes against the government. They were stealing stuff from the government, and they was both child molesters. Antoine V. Johnson molested and abused me, and Aldwin V. Johnson molested and abused a girl that they said her name was Tawana Williams, is what I was told. And they said it was an Army PX store in Huntsville, Alabama. And it was sometime in the 1990s when Aldwin V. Johnson and Antoine Johnson went to Anniston, Alabama. It was not Huntsville. It was Anniston, Alabama. Anniston, Anniston, Alabama. And they had stole some stuff from the Army PX store in Anniston, Alabama. They say they know Antoine did this stuff because the only way that you would be able to get inside of the Army PX store in Anniston, Alabama in the 1990s is somebody with a military ID would have had to have done it. And so they was like, Antoine V. Johnson, the same name on my marriage license, did something wrong. And whether it was before April 30th, on April 30th, or after April 30th, they was like, he was one of the people that tried to ruin my marriage and he tried to ruin my life. And I don't know why, because I was the youngest person in a family. And it was like, the guy that was with him, Aldwin V. Johnson, it was like they're child abusers, because, Kimaya Williams was born in 1996, the same year they say I was in a car accident, something about on Valentine's Day. And they said that those Johnson family people and those Williams family people had some mess going on with each other, and they accused me because of the name Johnson. And that a lot of this stuff that was done to me, being beat up and stuff like that, is because of a name Johnson and some kind of family feud they were having. And I never did any of the stuff the way that they did it, I never made anyone an underage mom. The first time somebody told me they was pregnant, they kept saying their name was April Williams and stuff like that. I got a marriage license and stuff like that. Like, I didn't do stuff the way that they did it. And all these years later, from 2004 to now, like, people say it's enough information that people know that I'm not like those other guys, I didn't do what they did, They say when a person says that she's your wife and she does a bunch of stuff that you don't like, she kept leaving and going different places. I kept getting locked up and going to jail, and people were saying that the police was her boyfriend, and every time they wanted to have sex, they would just lock me up in jail, and that they would have sex with the girl. It was like, ever since 2004, getting locked up, And people saying that they was having sex with your wife or with April Williams or the girl that was saying she's your wife. People saying that her children were their children and not your children and stuff like that. I did not kill her. No. It was like other people, when someone said it was their wife, you know, other people did domestic violence. Some of those girls died when other people did domestic violence. When other guys were told that their wife had sex with someone else, other guys, you know, were accused of killing their own wife. When other guys said that they didn't want more than one child, they made girls have an abortion, or they pulled guns on girls and paid for abortions, or they just beat a girl up and made her have a miscarriage. I did not, you know. Even when people tried to trigger me to fight a girl, even when a person that claimed to be April Williams asked me to fight her, you know, I never murdered anyone. But they said other guys, when their wife or a person who was not even their wife did stuff that they didn't like, they actually murdered people. And I did not. People said that when Antoine V. Johnson went to the Army, he stole information from the government. And since he's a child molester, because I am a witness, he molested me, you know, there's evidence, you know, online that he went to Asia, to a place called the Philippines, something about a youth in Asia, and that he's addicted to underage children. And there was a lady, I think they said she was a bar girl, and they said her name was Rose. And he was so addicted to underage children that he went to Asia and was bragging on how cheap it is to get sex over there, that when he went there, he targeted a single mom, a person who had underage children, because people said it's easy access to get a single mom because she already has underage children, you know, the way that Antoine V. Johnson likes it, you know, those types of situations. So they say if there was a girl that was pretending to be April Williams and a girl that pretended to be her wife, and if Antoine V. Johnson's name is on the paperwork, some people say they think he may have had something to do with the fraud and the identity theft, and that she was his girlfriend, and she never loved you, and she is not your wife. I have a wife. It's just not her, because she was one of those girls that, you know, decided to be a criminal with whoever it was that was using the identity of Antoine V. Johnson. And that she was promised the money and a position and a rank. Did she ever mention something to you about earning those positions, or you haven't earned those positions that Jay and the family has? You know, because they called him Jay or J Rock. Those names ring any bells? J Rock, you know, something about those situations. And it was like, you know, I proved that I'm not like them, because I don't want to be around underage children. And that's why, you know, when I was told not to go to the family court because you wouldn't want to be accused of being addicted to underage children, I don't even call those numbers to those places, because I don't want anyone to think that I'm trying to be around underage children, you know. So this video is for my wife, you know, so you can't say that you did not know. those people who they say are a family, whether they use that Williams name or that Johnson name, some of those people are child molesters and there's evidence of it. And I don't think that I should be hanging out at their house. I don't think you should be hanging out at their house. Whether their name is Johnson or Williams, those specific people and their kind, you know. And I'm not judging them and I'm not trying to force them to do anything. It's just the way that I feel about those types of sexual abusive situations where people were, abusing minor children, and they were doing identity theft and fraud and stuff like that, and they were grown. Ever since they said I was like 18 or 21 and they checked my background, because they said if the clock starts when you're grown, judging off of what you did as a grown person, and when they judged me, it was like, ever since I've been 18 or 21, I've never used anyone else's identity and did fraud or the stuff that those other people are accused of, And since I was already blamed as a child, when I was 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and I paid as a child for any crimes they say that I did as a child, since I was 18, 19, 20, 21, since that's the age they say of 21, it's like there's no record of me ever doing any fraud using someone else's identity or stuff like that. But they say the other people did, and what's their excuse? And they were given all the favor when they had a whole team and a whole group of people supporting them and cheering them on. They still did wrong, and I did not. It's crazy, So, I'm not sure of why other people did what they did or why they say they did it, I'm not sure, but it was like, yeah, since I was the youngest person in the family, if there was something wrong with my marriage license or my birth certificate, whether it was in lowercase letters or whether it was in capital letters, and since Antoine V. Johnson was a person that, was supposed to have been in the army and the military and stuff, and he knows that he set that paperwork up a certain way. People have been saying it's a shame when a person says they're a brother and they tried to ruin my life and they did the paperwork wrong and they tried to make me look bad. It's very wrong, So, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a judge, and I don't know if it was supposed to be all capital letters or all lowercase letters, but they was like, the guy that was using the identity of Antoine V. Johnson did something wrong. And since I was a mental health patient ever since I was 5 years old, and I still go to River Edge and I'm a mental health patient today, and I'm 38 years old and I'm not suicidal, and I don't have any victims, so I'm not the problem. People say they believe that those other people did those papers the way they did on purpose. And that they tried to ruin my life, and it's wrong. And it was like anyone that calls themselves part of that family, the Judson family or the Williams family, especially the Judson family, those people did wrong. So, if someone said they were my cousin, they said it was a girl that said her name was Felicia. She's not my wife. I'm not supposed to be married to a girl named Felicia Johnson, that's Randy's daughter or Phyllis' daughter, talking about Randy Jr. and Philip and Felicia. They said she was supposed to be a cousin, not my wife. Because, or if they said it was a girl named Shyla Johnson, they said she was Cassandra's daughter. She's not supposed to be having sex with me. She's not my wife. Shyla Johnson or Felicia Johnson. No. So, or whether it was those girls in that other family that said their name was Tay Tay or Angela or Coco or Ashley or Amber or Letisa Davis, his children. I'm like, no. Those people did something that I don't even understand. So whether their name was Ashley Johnson or Amber Johnson, Letisa Davis's daughters are not my wife. Cassandra Johnson's daughter, Shyla Johnson, is not my wife. Phyllis and Randy's daughter, Felicia Johnson, is not my wife. They said they were a family and they made it seem like it would be incest to be married to them, so they are not my wife. For everyone to know that. And Sean and those people that said their name was Helen and Sean and stuff, they said they were related to those people. It's just a crazy mess.